Stay tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Waiting to be profiled are actors Chuck DeMaria and Kev Orkian. Actor, singer Chuck DeMaria was born and raised in Buffalo, New York, and went to Turner Carroll High School. How did your career take off? Did you go to college after high school to be a singer?
No, actually, I didn't go to really start focusing on college until I came out here and started studying Chinese medicine.
Is that right?
I was playing in a lot of rock bands in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, did you have your own band?
For a long time.
What did you play?
I was just a lead singer.
Oh, you didn't play anything?
And that was actually how I got involved with it, because when I decided I wanted to be an actor, the most logical step was to get into musical theater.
Oh, so you went right from there? You did workshops, though?
No.
You didn't?
I was, a friend of mine comes up, well, I was DJing at a club, and a friend of mine came up and he said, I'm playing Frankenfurter in Rocky Horror. And I said, wow, dude, why didn't you call me? I would have loved to have been your riff-raff. And he goes, I'll keep you posted if they do anything else. So they were doing Superstar. So he goes, why don't you go down and audition? So I go down and I audition. I got the role of Judas. Prior to that show going up, my cousin Mike Licata called me up. He was already out here, and he said they're looking for a Judas for the national tour. And he gives me the casting director's phone number. His name was Peter Wise. And I called him up. I sang on his voicemail.
You're kidding. How clever. That is great.
I was desperate. So I sang on his voicemail. He calls me up and he says, fly to California. I fly to California. I sing for the director, Tony Christopher. About 2 weeks later, he calls me up again. He goes, fly to New York. And I had to sing for the producer, Forbes Candlish, and Ted Neely. So
Ted Neely was doing it on Broadway, right?
He was doing I believe the 20th anniversary or 25th anniversary tour of the movie.
Oh, and of the movie too. He did both, right?
He did perform it on Broadway. He did do the movie, and so they were doing an anniversary of the movie with Ted Neely and Carl Anderson. They were looking for a Judas, and that's how I got the role. So after that tour came down, I came out to California, started doing some work out here, and then decided I wanted to go to school. So I took some time off of acting, and about a year or so ago, a friend of mine called me up and said they're doing Superstar again, and they need you. So I called up Peter Wise again, Forbes Candlish again.
Did they knew they needed you, or you thought maybe they needed you?
The problem was Scott Spalding was he played Pontius Pilate on the tour, and he says they're going to need you.
Oh, so you knew.
So I auditioned for them, and what had happened was Ben Vereen was going to play Judas. Ted was going to play Jesus again. They were reprising their Broadway roles, and they knew that they had 5 days to put the show together. It was it was a benefit show for Youth Theater America at the Ricardo Montalban Theater.
Oh, in Hollywood, right.
Well, the problem was Ted wasn't going to be there until Friday. Ben Vereen wasn't going to be there till Saturday, and the show was going up on Sunday, so they needed somebody who could sing all the roles. So I basically sang in rehearsal all the male leads until the lead would show up.
Is that right?
Yeah,
and then you step into the next role? And it was only for one night?
One night. That was the one with Jack Black. Jack Black played Herod.
And did he rehearse a lot? Did he have to sing?
They brought him in, I believe, 1 or 2 days before. Very nice guy. They got the entire number down, and then he did rehearse as we ran the show. So he was right there. He didn't have a stand-in or anything. He did it himself.
Was it a singing role? Or talking?
Well, since it's a rock opera, there is no dialogue. So he had to go up and do everything vocally. Did a great job. He did a great job.
On your resume, it says you have a high C. What does that mean?
I think it's a high G.
High G,
yeah.
rock scream. Rock scream? Is that what they call it, a rock scream?
Well, when, what
does that mean?
When you come up and you say, "Wah!" That's basically, it's not really a classically trained note, and that just comes from years of doing rock bands.
Is that right?
That was it. So they needed somebody who could hit that note, especially in...
So that's your rock scream? And how often do you use that?
In Evel Knievel, all the time.
Oh, all the time in Evel Knievel, but did you use it prior to this? Were you using it as a rock singer?
Yeah, because I'm also the lead singer of a Queen tribute band called Under Pressure.
But
so I have to play Freddie Mercury on stage, and you have a lot of higher vocals with Queen music as well. So
what happens to your voice? Does it strain your...
Well, here's the weird thing about it. I'm used to playing in Buffalo, New York, where the bars are open until 4 a.m., which means you're playing until 3:30.
And what do? They have chicken wings?
A lot of them. Beer, pizza, and chicken wings. So you're just used to singing under very stressful environments. At that point, you could still smoke in a bar.
Oh,
so
right.
You're still smoking, you're drinking, you know,
you're
on
eating
stage.
chicken wings,
yeah.
you're singing.
So you
you're
get
playing.
used, you get used to singing under adverse circumstances. So when you have to do a show, it's like, okay, this is fine, because you're used to singing under worse conditions.
But you don't do that the whole time. You're not screaming like that the whole time.
It's not all the time, but there's a lot of places throughout the show where because the writer of the show, the writer of Evel Knievel the Rock Opera, the show we're currently doing at the Bootleg, Jeff Beck and Jay Dover. Jeff wanted to write something in the vein of 70s style music, which the lead singers tended to be higher singers. You know, your Plant and Page and men of that cut from that cloth. So they wrote the role in the upper registers.
Oh, so they had to find someone who would be able to do that then, right?
Consistently, yeah. And that's, you know,
but you do it every night. I was coming to that. I was just going through your career a little bit. You've done commercials, you've done TV, right? Mm-hmm. And you are studying Chinese medicine right now, which I think is great because I thought maybe that would help your throat.
The funniest thing about that is the people on the show get a kick out of it because I really don't drink. A beer is a huge night for me, and I don't drink in public. But there's a bottle of Jack Daniels on my dressing table, and they're like, "What's that for?" And I said, "Because I gargle with Jack Daniels before I go out on stage." And they said, "Why?" I said, "Well, Mario Alonso used to do a shot of whiskey and then drink water, and that's what he would do." I said, "Well, it's good enough for Mario." So I ended up getting into the habit that before I go on stage, I would gargle with Jack Daniels.
That's a true story? I thought you were kidding me when you were talking about that. Oh, you really do? What does it do? Does it
just clears
it?
No, it just clears out any extra
maybe I should
phlegm.
start doing that. Jack Daniels, though, icky.
Yeah.
That's why you spit it out, right?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of music do you like the best?
You know what? That changes daily. I'm a sucker for a good 3-minute pop track, and I always have been. So any singer who can make you believe what they're singing, I'm a fan.
Do you look to Broadway to do a Broadway show?
I would love to go to Broadway. It would put me closer to my family because my family is still in Buffalo, New York. But unfortunately, Broadway might even go dark in the beginning of December because of the contract dispute. But I would love to perform on Broadway. I would love to have that.
So you haven't had any chance to do off-Broadway or anything like that? I mean, you came to California and boom, that was it?
Yeah, the thing about it was this was as far west I could get without having to tread water. And after you live in Buffalo, you know, you're like, let's go someplace where it's warm.
You have the Niagara Falls. It's a lot of water there.
Yeah, but it's you can't actually swim around in it, but that's what happened. And the problem is, it took me a while before I actually came to the conclusion, I don't know if I can live in Buffalo anymore. I would love to be able to afford to live in Buffalo and still live in Los Angeles. And
why? Because of the extremes or the culture or what?
You become institutionalized. You know, when you come home and all of a sudden people are looking at you like you are not from there, and it's like, no, I lived here my entire life.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're just like, wow, maybe and somebody said, God, you're so LA, and I went, me? And
I was
said,
born here,
yeah.
right?
I said, and it kind of struck me as funny. But that's part and parcel of sitting in traffic on the 405 for hours on end.
Right. You don't have to do that there.
It changes a man.
That's right. But how did you get interested in Chinese medicine along with your singing and your rock bands and all that?
I was dating a girl in Jersey.